sexy girlfriend. Some say the devil is dead and buried in Killarney. This is the Metal Hammer of Doom, and I am your host, the man-data reporter, and frankly, I'm mortified, Mr. Mark Radledge. And tonight, we will be reviewing Cruachan, the Irish Celtic metal band, their latest album, which dropped April 27th, 2018, 9 Years of Blood. And here to help me do that, he's 6 feet tall, 6 feet tall, 6 feet tall. My man is 6 feet tall. He likes his sugar candy. He goes to bed at 6 o'clock, goes to bed at 6 o'clock, goes to bed at 6 o'clock. But don't you dare call him lazy, fat, and dandy. Ladies and gentlemen, Jesse Starcher, how do you do, sir?
Wow. All right. Well, let's just cut all the bullshit out of the intro today and hop right to the fact of the matter, okay? All right.
You have a hairy tang?
I don't have a hairy tang.
It's not going back on Monday?
There is a very real possibility
that,
yes, there's a very real possibility that we have potentially rubbed like elbows, virtual elbows with the singer of this band. Can we just go ahead and cover what happened today right now so we can get it out of the way?
Absolutely.
So you sent me a message, because we're not the most popular people. We can pretend we are, but we don't get a whole lot of comments, especially the encouraging kind, on our YouTube videos. But today you sent me a message, and this is how it all went down in my thought process as I'm sitting there at work. And you pasted the comment that we got on one of our Metal Hammer of Doom extras. If anybody out there has not had the opportunity to listen to those, we get you primed and ready for the Metal Hammer of Doom by looking at 3 videos from the upcoming artist that we're going to be talking about. Well, so of course we're doing some Cruachan videos, and we go through 3 of them. 2 of them have dropped by this point, and 3 o'clock today, the 3rd one was supposed to drop. So you send me a message, a copy-pasted message of the comment that we got. And it was very encouraging. I was very impressed with how, they actually seemed like they enjoyed our content, which is nice, So as I'm looking through it, I noticed that you posted the person's name there, which was Cruachan Keith. Now, I was like, something, jogged my mind to think, well, there's not too many. I'm certain that there's not too many people out there that are devoted fans of this band enough to put the band name in their YouTube handle. I'm sure there are plenty of fans of this band, but to take it that step far, I mean, you don't see me putting my name as Neil Jesse Fallon on YouTube or something like that. I'm a fan of Clutch, but I'm not that big of a fan. I want to. So I knew that this YouTube handle had to be something very personal, and so my first question was, is there a band member named Keith? Because I hadn't even got that far. I mean, you may have, but I haven't. And of course, Ronnie was in there. Good buddy, good friend of the show, Ronnie Adams of the Egg Screaming Boy podcast. He says, yes, there is. And I'm immediately like, okay, stop yanking my chain. I'm waiting for, Ronnie to throw, haha, got you, fooled you. And then he's like, no, that's no joke. So, the day progressed, and sure enough, we kind of connected some dots, and this very may well be one of the first Metal Hammer of Dooms that at least we didn't plan on any of the band members listening in any way. And we would love for that to happen, but we definitely didn't plan on it. Now, I know we've covered a band that you knew on here, which was, hold on a second, help me out. What was the band that you knew?
Oh, gosh. It's not in this moment, but it was something like that.
If he dies, he dies. What is that?
if he dies.
Okay, if he dies. So now, have we ever in the history of the Metal Hammer of Doom rubbed elbows or talked to or promoted our album or knowingly had any band members listen to our content?
No. Up till today, to my knowledge, nobody that we've ever covered has actually listened to one of our reviews.
Okay. All right. So it is a milestone episode if this by chance gets listened to by some of the members of the band. That being said, Mark, I have no idea, or had no idea, who the hell these guys were. So I know you're going to ask me. So go ahead, and I'll turn it back over to you, sir.
Well, let me first say that, Cruachan Keith, who appears to be the singer of the band Cruachan, left a couple of comments on our Metal Hammer of Doom extras. And he says in the comments, I mean, he gave us some information about what the songs were about, which was helpful. And when we actually get to them, I'll talk about that. But he did say that he enjoyed them. You know, they weren't delete your account faggot. They were, you know, he enjoyed them. He thought they were funny.
Put that on a shirt, Mindy.
He was laughing at the fact that we called his guitarist Kieran a 100-year-old man or whatever.
Oh, man. Yeah.
But if you're going to bring this up, I have to ask you, Jesse, and we talked about this in sort of a pre-show stretch, but let's put it all out there since, you know, you're airing our dirty laundry as such.
Oh my.
When I saw the comments, I was like, I'm glad we made the guy laugh. I'm happy to review his album. You know, I've got a lot of good things to say about it. So so if he listens to this, I hope he enjoys this as well. But one way or the other, I didn't care.
Sure.
I mean, I'm happy to have the listen, you know, and I'm definitely happy that he enjoyed it. But ultimately, I'm going to say what I want to say. You know, we do these things, and as I said before, I do them without the fear of, you know, without having to worry about offending somebody because, you know, I pay for a Spotify account. I'm not waiting for someone to send me free music. Yeah. I'm not beholden to anyone. So I say what I want to say, and we make jokes that we want to make, and I listened back to those Metal Hammer of Doom extras, and I thought they were funny too, quite frankly. I laughed a couple of times, especially I went home and told my wife about it. I was just like, you know, the Battle of Yellow Ford, and the first words out of Jesse Starch's mouth is, did a guy drive a Ford Pinto onto the field? What in the hell? You, however, like, saw those comments and for some odd reason gathered up your family and hid in the attic from the Nazis. I don't understand. What are you so afraid of, sir?
Well,
are you afraid that Cruachan Keith is going to put on his battle armor, get his fiddler, and like find you in
Doomsday Device? That's what I'm afraid of.
You're afraid
They're going to grab me and put me in the Doomsday Device. No, really. Okay. On a personal level, I mean, I'm on a level with everybody out there, any listeners that are have any care about what actually happens in the inner workings of my mind. But I don't want to offend anybody. I want to have a good time, and I hope that people can take a joke. That's my biggest fear, is that somebody cannot take a joke and think that for some reason
you're worried about then getting fired from directing Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's too late. But no, I mean, I do not try to do anything to be mean-spirited. That's my biggest fear. I don't want somebody thinking that what I'm saying is mean-spirited in any way. And unfortunately, we live in a time where it's just like, hey, you can't say anything without being thought of as trying to be confrontational or trying to downgrade or belittle somebody. And there were a couple things that I felt like, well, shit, man, that guy, I'm sure Kieran probably may have took offense to what I said. And I don't want him to certainly sit there and think that was just our impression of what we saw. So it's a matter of being worried that somebody is not going to think I'm funny and more along the lines trying to be mean. And it's a real fine line that a lot of people skirt. And I try not to, I try to lean on the funny side of things. So yes, another thing is, this is somebody's livelihood, their artistic creation that they're putting out there. We come on this Metal Hammer of Doom every week, and man, if you listen to that last Philip H. Anselmo and the Washing Machines album, I mean, if that was something that he was very passionate about, and he listened to our deconstruction of that mess, I could understand him possibly being offended, because sometimes just crap is crap. And we put ourselves in that position every week. But the thing is that I hope that artists understand we appreciate the construction that they put into what they give to the people. We appreciate that nonetheless. You guys are way ahead of us when it comes to putting something together and getting it out there to the masses. We're working on maybe one of these days we'll have 50 listeners. You know, we're just trying to get to that 50. All right, you guys have reached millions. So there's you know, you're already there. And the thing is that creation should be respected by everyone. So even though we may give you a hard time about it, we understand the hard work and what you've done to try and get there. Although we're going to poke fun if we can. So there you go, Mark Radulich. Yes, I don't want to offend anybody, but unfortunately, you know, I worry just a little too much. Now, can we move on from me and talk about Cruachan?
We can. I just want to repeat what you just said there. You don't want to offend anybody. You've been doing a podcast with me for several years now. I don't know how you connect the two. Who offends everybody? I go.
I apparently live in a fantasy world. Everything you do, I just no. That's just Mark. Chalk it up to Mark.
I can actually see this though. It's like because you do a podcast with me, who's not afraid of offending anyone, and will just say whatever he wants to say, and has diarrhea of the mouth, and that's fine. And so you get to be the good guy. You get to be the baby face on these podcasts. You're just like, well, yes, I didn't say it. That asshole over there did. I mean, you get to laugh about it. You get to join in the fun, join in the chant, as Knights of Rep would say. But you're not the asshole who's actually saying it.
Thank goodness.
See, I see through you, Jesse Starcher. I can see you.
You got me figured out, man.
All right. So moving on. Before I had introduced you to Some Say the Devil Is Dead off the Pagan album, which is a Wolf Tones cover, you had never heard of Cruachan, right?
That's right. Yeah, there was nothing that tripped my radar. We had listened to some folk metal in the past, but this wasn't something that may have crossed my Spotify list just by chance, at least not that I can tell.
So you got a chance to listen to one of, Some Say the Devil Is Dead done live in Moscow, and then you got to hear one song off one of their more recent albums, and then one song off this new album. Just kind of going into this album, what were some of your thoughts?
Well, I knew there was going to be some folk feel. We had a good bit of death metal screaming there, vocals from some of the stuff that we had on the Metal Hammer of Doom Extra. So I wasn't expecting a whole lot different from that. They could definitely be heavy, but I was really surprised at how heavy their sound was with this album. I haven't listened to anything prior to this, but from the Metal Hammer of Doom Extras that we listened to, I knew we were definitely going to get some metal, but I was really surprised at how much metal we got here. That took me by surprise.
All right. Well, without any further ado, let's go ahead and play our first track off the album, but the second track in the listing. So what that means is we're not going to play the instrumentals. We're going to skip right to Hugh O'Neill, the Earl of Tyrone. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's hear it.
All right, here we go.
His name was you, O'Neill.
Alrighty. The Earl of Tyrone. Tyrone! Pretty sure that's not who they meant, though. So what'd you think of Hugh O'Neill, the Earl of Tyrone?
Well, it's a great heavy way of introducing us to what this album's going to be about. We have, I don't know if our listeners are aware of the history in regards to this that they're talking about here. Nine Years of Blood is about a war that was fought between 1593 and 1603 by the Irish, who rebelled against the English. And there was, I'll just go ahead and read about this. This is from metalstorm.net. This kind of puts it, a nice little summary of what we're going to get. It says, ever read Irish history? A barrel of laughs it ain't. And I think that fits because we get a lot of dark tones throughout this album, and you guys will get the chance to hear a bit of that. But yes, this chapter deals with the 9 Years' War, the 1593 to 1603 rebellion against English rule led by a coalition of Irish nobles, which at one point dealt the English their greatest military defeat in Ireland, but ultimately led to the expansion of English power and the exodus of many Irish nobles. So here's what I call, we're all familiar with Sabaton and they're the great songs that they have in regards to like World War I, World War II, Vietnam. They do some great songs that teach you about history, and this album is going to be very similar. The sound's going to be a lot different. We're definitely going to be dealing with that folk metal sound, but we're going to learn a lot, and it's going to tell this story about this battle. And of course, our first song is about one of the largest nobles that I think led the resistance here, and that's Hugh O'Neill. So there we go. You've heard of gang vocals, right, Mark?
What are gang vocals, Jesse Starcher?
Gang vocals are where people kind of jump in all at the same time and yell either a chant or, they sing along there. You hear a bunch of them at the same time. Well, I have
like a
for
chant,
folk metal.
like a chant like guns, 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 fire, 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 woo!
Is that a song?
We have been over this.
I'm calling them clan vocals.
No,
How's
wait,
that?
no, I'm. This is bothering me.
No, just let it go.
I've played you join in the chant before. I've talked about this ad nauseum.
When? How long ago was this? I don't recall guns, 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 fire.
You don't remember? You don't recall me playing Knights or Ebb join in the chant?
Knights or Ebb.
Knights or Ebb.
So you just said this a second ago, and I let it go because I was like, I don't want to go on a sidebar about who the hell this is. Who the hell is this, Mark?
It just makes me feel bad because, like, I've talked about them with you before. I've played them for you.
It sounds so familiar. Knights. How do you spell it?
Nightzer. Nitzerebb. Nightzer Ebb.
Nightzer Ebb, not Nixer. Nightzer.
No, not Nitzer or Nixon or Donner or Blitzen.
Okay, yeah, so what? Now They
wrote a song called Join in the Chant, and the song goes guns, 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 fire, 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 woo. And then, and then there's more to it than that, but
oh, okay. Oh. Well, according to Spotify, that is not the most listened to song by Knights or Ebb.
What is the most listened to song by Knights or Ebb?
Less than 500 more listens is Joining the Chant. Let Your Body Learn is 751,876 listens. So yes, Let Your Body Learn. You know that one?
No, actually, I don't. I'm more familiar with Joining the Chant.
Well,
and you would be too if you remembered anything I had to say. My feelings are hurt. Thank you.
What's next, Mark Rattle? Let's move on. Damn it.
Well, I want to talk about the song for a minute, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
All right. It's a very contentious podcast we're having tonight. I feel like we're not getting along.
Oh, now, come on.
Hugh O'Neill, the Earl of Tyrone. I don't know much about history or biology, and as I've said before, books are for burning. But I know what I may not know odd, but I know what I like. And here's a few more catchphrases.
Yeah. How about throwing a few references while you're at it?
I got a very Cradle of Filth feel out of this song.
Okay.
It's like a Cradle of Filth sort of focused a little bit less on the symphonic and more on the folk. I think that's what you'd get with this song.
Okay.
It definitely had that epic black metal, that symphonic black metal feel to it. And if you look at the under genre for the wiki of 9 Years of Blood, it's Celtic metal, and then the second one is black metal, then folk metal. So that makes sense. I have not heard every single Cruachan album out there. That's Cruan. By the way, in case you don't know how to spell it, ladies and gentlemen. I remember Pagan. I remember Pagan being a little bit more folk sounding. I'm not entirely sure when the band adopted this more black metal feel to it, but that's not to say that I don't dig it, because so far so good. We'll see what happens with the rest of it. And just so people are playing at home can follow along, we will not be playing tracks 8 and 9, which is an Ale Before Battle, and then the title track 9 Years of Blood. Both of them are instrumentals, so that's just the rules here on the Metal Hammer of Doom.
Very good.
All right, moving on. God damn it. This next one is Blood and Victory. Every time I hear that song, I think somebody call Tim Burton. He needs to put Cruachan in one of his movies.
I want to step back and talk about the vocals again in regards to how black or death metal they sound. So, do you think that fits for a folk metal album? Is that something that you have issue with at all?
I mean, look, most of the folk metal bands that I listen to have that screaming, belting, growling vocals to it. I mean, think about Fintroll. You may have heard of them. You might have forgotten them, but you may have heard of them.
Most likely, I have forgotten them.
I'm sure I've played them for you, and you have dismissed them out of hand like you do everything I say. No. Wait, hang on.
Never listen to that on Mark Radlich again.
Hey, hang on. Come here, horsey.
Yeah.
All right, I'm done beating that horse to death, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, Fintroll definitely has a growl to it. But they're also growling in another language. So
Okay.
I would say a lot of the folk. I mean, is there folk metal that's clean? Sure. Twar, what I think would be considered folk metal. I'm going to look them up in a second and see what the wiki says.
What'd you call them?
Twar, Tyr.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was pronounced tier 2, but when I've heard the band pronounced as Twar. So,
Okay.
so with that being said, hang on. Viking metal, folk metal, progressive metal, their vocals are very, very clean.
Okay.
By the way, the next time you do a Thor book on the Source Material podcast, you have to open with "Hold Your Heathen Hammer High."
Okay. Duly noted, sir. Duly noted. We do get a good helping of clean vocals throughout this album. I don't know if we've heard any yet, but we will, I imagine, here as we go through. So it's a balance between harsh and clean, which is, I'd say I've talked about how much I kind of like that in most of my metal that I've been listening to, a balance of those harsh and clean vocals, and I think they do a good job here. So we got through Blood and Victory as the story progresses here in the 9 years of war. I wish I had the lyrics in front of me. I just could tell. The notes I have were, "Have we told you this album is about war?" Things are getting Blood and Victory. Yeah, that goes hand in hand with, unfortunately, this conflict that's occurring here. As we're getting towards the climax of it here in a couple songs, I think. So let's move on, man, unless you got something else you want to say.
I really like the bridge in this. You start to hear the fiddle and everything. The fiddle's a little more prominent. Here's the thing. Independently, I'm not crazy about the death or black metal vocals, especially when you mix it with that tinny drumming. However, change the drumming up, add some fiddles, add some violins, give it a real symphonic sound. It doesn't bother me nearly as much.
Yeah,
that's one of the things I'm really enjoying about this album is that, you have those brutal vocals, but it's a good mix with the folk sound in the background, and then you have some traditional metal in there as well. So there's a lot of there's a lot of layers to each of these songs that we've heard so far that make the listening a little bit more interesting than your standard sort of black metal or death metal fare. Mayhem, this is not.
Agreed.
All right. Moving on. This is Queen of the Desert. No, this is Queen of War.
I am ageless and timeless. Before me you will kneel to worship me and honor me. Pledge your life, your land, your steel. I soar above the turmoil of battle, war, and strife, gathering the souls of men, of those who lost their lives. I am bloodless, I'm
little late on that one. Wow, that was perfect. That is exactly. I mean, the only thing missing from that, from a personal standpoint, is I like my music to be a little bit more up tempo. But outside of that, that is epic. That is emotional. That is well constructed. That's probably my favorite song on the album so far. Maybe my favorite song on the album entirely, though. The harp, the lion, the dragon, the sword, the wolf, the clan, the Homer, however that one goes.
The Bartman.
Yeah, the Bartman is up there as well. In any case, yeah, Queen of War. If I would recommend one track off of this, it's that one. There needs to be some enterprising young man out there, because what girl would do this? There needs to be some enterprising young man out there who needs to take this song and cut a video to it of Cersei just doing Cersei stuff from damn it, I had it.
Who is Cersei?
Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, we got a great example of some of the heaviness off of this album, some of the stuff that I really enjoy as well in Queen of War. It does stand out among some of these tracks. It's one of the better ones for sure.
You've never watched Game of Thrones, right?
That is correct, sir.
All right. Well, so for this next reference, you really need to have watched the show, because it really does. Like, I kind of made a gag out of somebody should, like, cut a video with her, of her to this song from, like, scenes and images from the series. But it really does, like, invoke that person. She's this tough as nails, villainous woman, queen. This woman of power on the show. She's also the other broad on the show who's constantly naked. Yeah, her and Emilia Clarke are in a race to see who could be naked the most on Game of Thrones. But
nice.
But yeah,
track. Who's winning, Mark?
I've got a spreadsheet. It's my naked Game of Thrones spreadsheet. I'm playing naked Game of Thrones bingo. If Emilia Clarke takes it in the butt one more time while on fire, I got bingo. Anyway,
fire.
Don't worry about it.
Oh, well, I need to watch this show.
You need to watch at least the first season.
Okay.
Whatever her character's name is, the Unburnt. Anyway, on a side note, we were talking about how this summer was full of motion pictures where the male lead and the female lead had no sexual chemistry whatsoever. And one of the ones I cited was Solo, and I said I couldn't remember the actor's name, so I said the walking bag of Cheetos that's playing Han Solo, and the chick that's always naked in Game of Thrones. That's
your references. That's how people know them.
Yes.
All right. Very good.
All right, I cut you off. You were actually trying to talk about the music, so go.
Oh, here. Well, I went to folkmetal.nl to learn a little bit about 9 Years of Blood, and they did somewhat of a breakdown of some of the songs. And this one right here is about an entity, a figure from Irish mythology called the Morrigan. You ever heard of that?
Wasn't she a character in the Avengers where she was a villain and she was related to King Arthur?
That was what struck me, but I didn't jump in to see if it was. I know who you're talking about, though. Is it Morgan Le Fay?
Yes.
Is that who you're thinking of? Okay.
Yes.
Don't think they're the same. I'll read to you. Although there might be. See, I'm not too familiar with that comic character. I just know she showed up a couple times. But here we go.
Is it a tall black man with a graying afro who does a lot of narrations?
No, it's not Morgan Freeman. Mark Radlich. Okay. It is okay. The Morrigan is. This is straight from the wiki. The Morrigan is mainly associated with war and fate, especially with foretelling doom, death, or victory in battle. So that is the Queen of War for you right there.
All right. I think that's still evocative of Cersei. I could see her as the Queen of War.
Oh, sure.
Goddess
is she naked?
Of war.
If this goddess is naked, I'm down.
All the fucking time. Naked and fucking her brother. That's what she does. That's every episode, every season. She's doing one of three things. She's either naked and fucking her brother, she's kicking a dwarf, or she's walking through the streets getting mud thrown at her.
I've got to take a look at this chick.
Also naked, by the way.
Sarah. The brother? Or what?
No. I'm making fun of the fact that there's an episode of Game of Thrones where she has to take the walk of shame, and so she walks from the church back to the castle, and she's naked, and the entire townspeople who know that she's just a whore and a bitch and incestuous are like pelting her with mud and tomatoes and shit.
Oh, well, what's the next song?
Don't feel bad. Don't waste your time feeling bad for Cersei, okay? She doesn't have a YouTube page where we can leave comments or anything. It's fine.
Oh, dang it. Gosh darn it.
How was your podcast tonight, Jesse? I've never wanted to punch Mark in the nuts more.
Florida is too far away for this shit.
It's going in the Jesse's notebook. Welcome to Florida. Why? All right, this next song is not about the Transformer Bumblebee, though it is called The Battle of the Yellow Ford. And I'm going to go ahead and go to... Really? Nothing? All right.
I was about to correct you the fact that Bumblebee was a Volkswagen, but we'll go ahead and just move on.
So our good friend, our new best friend, Cruachan Keith, who is the singer of the band Cruachan,
who has not told us to delete our YouTube page yet.
Not yet. It's coming, I'm sure. But
I could see him just leaving. He left a comment, picks up the phone. He's like, "Give me my lawyers."
He's like Tony Stark, in the Ant-Man comic. Just one word, sue. Anyway, he left a comment on our Metal Hammer of Doom Extra. There's a video. I absolutely would recommend checking it out. It's Jim Dandy. It's called "The Battle of the Yellow Ford." And of course, we idiots on this show. First words out of Jesse Starcher's mouth were, something about a Ford Pinto and driving it onto the battlefield or whatever. So he sent us a very educational post here. Hilarious again. A ford is a shallow point in a river where cavalry can cross. So where cavalry can cross, which is important strategically. The story off the video is in the about part in the YouTube vid. Basically, the battle is over with a huge Irish victory. 2 English soldiers are being tracked by 2 Irish soldiers. The English musketeer has run out of powder. The Irish destroyed their supply in the battle. So it's a fight to the death for all. So that's what the song is about.
So his first mistake was expecting us Americans to read what was in the YouTube page.
I don't go YouTube to read. Books are for burning. Make America great again. All right.
No, that's again, this is a point in Irish history that, I don't know anything about, really. I've never read anything about what's happened past probably the 1800s in United States history.
Look, all I know about the Irish is that some guy went to go get French fries. They were out of potatoes, and everyone left the fucking country.
I'm almost like the bit is me asking you to explain what the hell you're talking about, because I need to know what happened. What are you talking about?
The Irish potato famine.
Oh.
The whole reason a lot of Irish came to America only to find people putting up signs that said Irish need not apply. So they all became cops and the mayor.
This is where he draws the line. Keith is like, you can make fun of the guitarist all you want, but you bring up that fucking potato famine again. That's bullshit. We're done.
It's like, what are you doing, Keith? I'm posting a video of how I shoved potatoes down this fat-ass American throat. Fuck that guy. That's my Irish accent, by the way.
Good.
Thanks. All right. This is an abject lesson how no band should ever make friends with us.
Yes. Do you have in your
Ice-T's phone number? No, but if Ice-T ever listens to any of our podcasts, I will see him. I'll say nice things about.
Do you have any Irish in your blood? Is that something that I know we've talked about how Slavic you are when you give the old kid a Slavic rattlich right upside the head? But no, I mean, do you have what do you? Where do you hail from, Mark Radulich?
Let's cut right to the chase. I am not in any way any part of the United Kingdom. None of that. I'm nowhere. My people are from Eastern Europe, Southeastern Europe. So Italy, Croatia, Hungary, Romania, I mean, until I go to Ancestry.com and figure the rest out, that's all I can tell you. I'm sure I'm like 1% fucking Mongol, like everybody else is.
Oh, yes.
Because
we're all descendants.
Gosh, what was the dude's name again? From
Genghis Khan?
Genghis Khan be fucking!
Yes, sir.
Anywho, but yeah, that my whole ancestry is like a crescent moon from like Italy all the way up through like Eastern Europe. My wife, however, is all like English and French and Irish. Apparently, her maiden name is Day, for those of you that want to send hate mail to her. And rumor has it that it was actually O'Day when they came over.
Okay.
And it got shortened to Day because fuck the Irish.
Well, I can tell you that I think on my grandmother's side, I've got some Irish there. Her maiden name, or her mom's maiden name, was Callahan. Mm-hmm. And I also have on my grandfather's side, there's like Indian. So, I stay away from the alcohol.
The Metal Hammer of Doom. Are you ethnic in any way?
The Metal Hammer of Doom. Stereotypes.
Stereotyping now, stereotyping forever. All right, this is the Battle of the Yellow Ford. Upon multiple listens of that, I really dig that song. That's a very cool song. Obviously, it has that battle metal feel to it. Yeah. But some odd reason, after like the first like initial violins and whatever, I wanted it to break into the Doors' "Riders of the Storm."
Yeah, I got that feel as well. Now, let me tell you a little bit about the Irish victory at the Yellow Ford. So we have here where they're talking about this great battle that's happening. Now the English march in here, and I get the feeling that they believe they're an imposing force. Who's going to stand up against the English? Nobody's going to stand up against us. We have a great army. Well, they show up there, and this is like one of the worst worst defeats that England had suffered. They lose up to 2,000 English troops in this battle.
Have you ever seen Braveheart?
Yes, I have. Now, that's Scottish, though, right?
Them Scotch.
Okay. All right. So that's what I thought. I have that in my mind because that's probably like, we always do. We're equating this with some kind of a movie to kind of get the picture of what's happening along with the music. So I've had Braveheart going through my head as some of these battles were going down. But yeah, this was quite a victory for the Irish. In fact, it really spawned a lot of people. It says that the victory prompted uprisings all over the country. With the assistance of mercenaries in O'Neill's pay, Hugh O'Neill, as we talked about earlier, and contingents from Ulster. And it is at this point that the war developed.
Hugh O'Neill, the Earl of Tyrone!
It's at this point that the war developed in its full force. So, yeah, very pivotal point in this battle, in this 9 years of blood.
All right. You want to take a crack at the next, at telling us what the next track is?
Sure. Yeah, I can read it. I'm going to butcher it, but I'll read it. So this next track coming up is Cath na Brioskai. Brioskai? Brioskai. I'll go with Brioskai. How's that? Cath na Brioskai. And
Alrighty. Not bad. We're I wouldn't say we're waltzing into samey territory here, but I mean everything I've said about almost every other track on here, I can say about this one too. I don't have a whole lot more to add to it than that.
At this point here, when I'm listening to this album, I really start to notice how well this band blends the heavy metal aspects and then really lets the folk shine when it needs to.
Yes. And I think I actually prefer the folky parts to the medley parts.
Oh yeah, when we get into like what we just heard there right before you cut it off, where it's just the violin and it's kind of it's a kind of like a somber jig. I would say, it's kind of if you can jig somberly, but yeah, it's
this is our one of more depressed jigs.
You can dance, but better not dance too fast.
You can dance if you want. You can leave your friends behind.
You can yeah. So I was really starting to notice how well they do a good job, and most of the songs have this part in them where it's time to headbang. It's got that, that great, there's great riffs and there's that great, I don't want to say gallop, but I mean, it just has you going, bobbing your head back and forth. There's quite a few of those songs, and they intermingle it so much to where it's not heavy on the headbanging and not too heavy on the folk, not too heavy on the death vocals. I think this song represents a good combination of all those elements here. So I had a good time with this one. I'm starting to enjoy the album more as I go through it here. When I was first listening to it. So then we get to the next track, buddy. Are you ready?
Yes, here we go. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. No.
Our Trip to Narnia. Cruachan.
This is the harp, the lion, the dragon, the sword.
The harp, the lion, the dragon, and the sword. The harp, the lion, the dragon, and the sword. The harp, the lion, the dragon, and the sword. The harp, the lion, the dragon, and the sword. From the mother's present in the growing English thread. The elephant's finished, Mountjoy would lead away. He won the Queen's favor, that's as he would convey. Witness to lieutenants, judges their Mountjoy would change the course of war, and end was now in view. But not before an epitaph, rebellion in the South. His forces were dispatched to stop the bloody rebellion out.
Oh boy, that's so good. That is easily, if not the best track, the second best track on the album by far.
Yeah, this one's up there for me too. Top 3, if not the top. Oh man, it is. Here's the thing. I wanted to find out what this one was about. I mean, I listened to the lyrics, and I know this is probably fitting in with part of what's going on in this battle, but this is where I think bands have the opportunity to go onto YouTube and do a track by track and kind of lay out, hey, this is what this is about, especially a concept album detailing the battles as we go along and maybe what they wanted to kind of convey with their music. But the song kicks so much ass. If you're not saying that this is one of the best tracks off of this album. You're probably more along the lines of loving. There's folk embedded in this, but it's not as present as I would say throughout the rest of the album. This is more heavy metal, in my opinion.
I mean, the folk elements are all there.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're absent. It's just it seems more prevalent in other songs.
I also like the clean vocals in this one.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's got a great beat to it. I love it. I'm not entirely sure when a dragon attacked Ireland, though.
When did
that happen?
Here, hold on just a second. Let me look at something.
Are you going to wiki when did the dragon attack Ireland?
No, I'm not looking that up. I want to look at what is it? England. Is there a shield for England? Because that's what I kept thinking of. Was like the emblem on one of the shields.
You're probably right. I'm being a silly goose.
Oh well, okay.
All right,
moving on.
You keep. If you want, you can keep researching that and see if you can find out what exactly the references are to the harp, the lion, the witch, the wardrobe, the hobbit, and whatever else is in that song. Meanwhile, we're going to move on here. This is the Siege of Kinsale. The Siege of Kinsale. You know, I have to say, we're almost to the end here. We have 2 more tracks left. Not a weak album, not at all. It's really very strong, very fun. A lot of great folk elements in there. I was thinking as we were listening to this, a couple of years back, I talked about how the nice thing about metal is that it's a platform for telling stories, or at least it can be.
Sure. Absolutely. And you're right. This album really hasn't let up. It's got everything in there we expect it to be. There's not really one song that kind of sets itself apart and you're going, oh, geez, this one kind of, this one's lackluster. That's not the case. Most of them have something that I enjoy out of it. So I had no problem letting this play through at least 4 times today, all the way through. So there wasn't a point where I was like, okay, I want to skip this. Not happening. So, Mark, I did a quick bit of research. I'm not going to say that it is the royal coat of arms of the United Kingdom, but I will tell you that when I punched in harp, lion, dragon, sword, there is a harp.
The computer yelled back at you, nerd.
Research, Mark. It's called research. I don't know if there's a sword involved here. I can't see it. Now, there's quite a few changes to the royal coat of arms, but when there's questions that I have, they need to be answered, Mark, so don't you give me a hard time. Now, let's talk about the Siege of Kinsale just real quick. just to kind of let you know what happened there. The Battle of Kinsale, which, holy crap, I don't remember that being on the page. History of Ireland. So that was... This is the end, I think, the end of the war, where the English actually defeat the Irish.
This is the end
of the world as we know it.
The end, my friend, the end.
The siege, I'll tell you right here. Here's what it says. The siege or Battle of Kinsale was the ultimate battle in England's conquest of Gaelic Ireland, commencing in October 1601 near the end of the reign of Queen Elizabeth I and at the climax of the 9 Years' War. So there you go. That's the Siege of Kinsale.
You know, I'm such a dummy. Because, you're sitting there reading, and as soon as you said Gaelic, I was like, okay.
It's okay, Mark. You're learning. At least you stopped yourself for a second. Maybe one of these days you won't actually say it.
I can't imagine that day ever coming, but sure.
One of these days.
All things are possible through Christ. All right.
If you're going to be born again, you'll be a born again racist.
I'm going to be a black Klansman. That's what I'm going to be.
Was that a good movie?
It was all right.
All right. Well, I had what? Who to have in it again?
Denzel Washington's kid and Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren, yeah, that's what I was trying to remember. Oh, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. AMC list.
The A list, yes.
Oh, lucky you.
Yes, I was definitely one of those people that Movie Pass, after I canceled, re-enrolled, and was like, no, cancel, assholes.
That is some shit, man. We need to do another podcast on that, just saying.
We also need to do a Screaming Boy podcast, entitled Ruby Rose, Too Gay for Hollywood.
I cannot believe that.
I'm sorry.
I looked at the source.
Sorry, not gay enough. I fucked that joke up. Once again, take two. Ruby Rose, not gay enough for Hollywood. There we go. On the Screaming Boy podcast, starring Ronnie Adams.
Egg.
Egg.
All right, Mark. What's next? What do we got on the agenda?
Well, this is about when all the black people left the inner city. It's called The Flight of the Earls.
Jesus.
Waka waka.
O'Neill did fight heroically at the Battle of Kinsale. He nearly broke the English, he nearly did prevail. But in the end, the English won. O'Neill was an outcast, an exile in the land. He loved that ruler of the past. In this land I cannot be, here I cannot stay. I'd rather go and leave this place to famine and decay. His elves were in agreement, they made plans to sail to Spain, to plan a re-invasion to remove the English reign.
That's good stuff. Good stuff, Jesse Starcher. And yes, I am aware that an Earl is a title. It's not just the name of a large quantity of African-American gentlemen.
That's horrible. All right. Well, that's good.
I'm aware that was a dumb joke.
Aware. So, this band has been around for 25 years. Cruachan has been around for 25 years.
And they've
Mark
never
Radlich.
once washed their armor.
There's pride in that stink, Mark Radlich. You know that.
That's right.
Let's give props to our band members here, because I've got the wiki in front of me, or at least what I copied from the wiki. And number one, if there's anybody that wants me to play, or let's try that again. If there's anybody that makes
Ruby
me
Rose, not gay
Ruby
enough for
Rose.
Hollywood.
If there's anybody that wants to make me play a gay actress, if there's anybody that makes me want to play air fiddle or air violin, it's John Ryan, who plays the violin here, the cello, or the bowed bass. Mauro Friesen.
Mauro Ranallo.
Mauro Friesen, drums, percussion. Aaron Fletcher, bass guitar. Kieran Ball, still alive, guitars and acoustic guitar. And
the 1,000-year-old guitarist.
we love you, Kieran. Keith,
You didn't see him playing his fiddle in the background during the crucifixion.
Keith Fay, allegedly known as Nero. As he watched Rome burn.
He was hanging out with Judas. It's fine.
And then Keith Fay.
Rumor
vocals.
has it Kieran once rode a dinosaur.
Jeez. That man's going to hate us. Okay, so, and of course our friend Cruachan Keith Fay, vocals, guitars, acoustic guitar, keyboards, tin whistle. You ever play a tin whistle, Mark Radlich?
I play with my tin whistle every night.
How about the bouzouki? I play with my bouzouki.
Oh my god, I like to stick my bouzouki in uncomfortable places.
Mandolin, the bodhran, and percussion. I don't know. What the hell is a bouzouki? We got to look this up real quick.
Wouldn't you like to know, big boy? Is it the same thing as a hut zut?
The hut zut is, what the fuck is a hut zut?
Oh, you don't read enough Dr. Zeus to your kids, by the way. I am totally obsessed with a character in the Dr. Zeus book. I can read with my eyes shut, called Fufu the Snoo.
You obsessed with something absurd. How?
I need to change the icon on my Facebook page to Fufu the Snoo.
Okay. The bouzouki looks like one of those Middle Eastern guitars, or the sitar. Okay, brought here in the 1900s by Greek immigrants from Turkey. So there you go.
Thinking
All right.
of changing this whole channel to the Fufu the Snoo and Broadcasting Network.
Yeah, that'll go over real well. I can barely speak English as it is. You want me to plug this network?
Jesse, what are you doing plugs on? I don't know. Fuck shit the fuck. I can't remember
I can't pronounce it.
What this idiot said.
Take 3. Foo gnu snoo. Shit.
Foo fried gnaps.
But yes, that was some good stuff.
Yes,
I liked Flight of the Earl. So yeah, we're coming in on the closing. Actually, I think that is. Now, I don't know if this next song ties in with the story, because I know this is, according to Spotify, this is a cover, what we're going to talk about next.
Christy Moore, an Irish folk singer, songwriter, and guitarist. He's one of the founding members of Planixty and Moving Hearts. His first album, Paddy on the Road, was recorded with Dominic Behan in 1969. It was the summer of '69. In 2007, he was named as Ireland's greatest living musician.
Wow.
Man,
I tell
Let's
you what.
see what dumb shit we can say about this guy.
That's bigger than the Earl of Tyrone right there.
The Earl. It certainly is, Ollie. All right. This next one is a cover of apparently the greatest musician to ever come out of Ireland. This is Back Home in Derry.
town of Derry. For Australia bound, if we didn't all drown at the marks of the feathers we carried. In our rusty iron chains, we cried for a wage. Our good women we left in sorrow. As the mainsails unfurled, our curses we hurled at the English and thoughts of tomorrow. Go! At the mouth of the flood, with farewell to the silence, down below decks we were lying. Oh, doth honey scream woken out of a dream by a vision of old Robert dying. The sun were cruel and we dished out the crew, and O'Connor was down with a fever. 60 rebels today, about 4 Bosley Bay. How many will meet their receiver? I wish I was back home in Derry.
Oh, boy. Oh, grab yourself a pint of Guinness and slosh it across the bar.
Oh, hell yeah. Bring it on. That right there, if that's a cover, which they said it is and it looks like it is, it's a damn good cover. I'm not the cover guy either. I really enjoy that song. So
yeah, that was good shit.
That was a good way to end the album, and I should have known better because, the first words out of this, off of this song are in 1803. We just got done talking about a battle that occurred in 1590s to 1600s, so I don't think it ties in with the story, Mark. Don't think it does.
Probably not.
Probably not. All right, man. What's your final thoughts, bro?
What the fuck, dude? My final thought, bro.
I try to cue you up, and you just shit all over it. Trying my best.
Just settle down over there. There's no girls. There's no girls on this podcast. Settle down.
I'm afraid to edit that thing.
Well, brah, Swerve.
Swerve.
B+ overall. I thought it was a fine album. I don't know how. I think in the grand scheme of things, I don't know how often I'd replay it. But gearing up for this podcast, I was enjoying myself. I thought there was a lot of great songs on here. A couple of meh songs. I think here's the problem. At first blush, I wanted to give it an A because it's really a solid outing by Cruachan. On the other hand, we've got quite a few A's. And as I think about...
You've got quite a few A's, is what the problem is.
As I think about, what some of the other ones that I gave high marks to, I'm like, is it better than those? I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's okay.
Yeah. They do a great job telling a story, specifically about a war that happened over, close to 400 years ago. I mean, wow. That's something that's tough to get across to anybody in a history class. But here, they do a fine job of telling the story through their music and making you enjoy what's coming through your speakers. So I do enjoy this. I think being a piece in history, it kind of shoves them into a niche because, if I want to hear some Sabaton or, I've already mentioned them. That's history-based tales that are put to some metal music. This falls right in line with that. And sometimes it takes me being in a mood for that. And folk metal is it's an interesting genre that we don't really cover a whole lot here. I mean, we've done a few albums, at least since I've joined. So it's not something that we hear a lot of. And it takes an acquired taste, I guarantee it. I shared this on my Facebook page. I said, here, check out, the one that we like the most, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I said, listen to this one. This is a great song off of this album. I don't know if anybody's going to click on it because, he said folk metal. Boom, I'm out of there. Either way, I enjoyed this album thoroughly. I had a good time listening to it. Again, there wasn't any songs on here where I was like, skip it. I don't want to listen to that one. Every single one of them had something to offer to me. So, in the grand list, my spreadsheet, Mark ran it. I got my spreadsheet open. Here's where they're going to land right now. And again, I reserve judgment to kind of adjust this as we get towards the end of the year. We've got 26 albums that we have put on here, 27, because I still don't think I put that one on there that we had mentioned. No, I think maybe I did. But either way, 26 albums. I'm putting this at 14, right under Machine Head's Catharsis. And above, and I think even though it's one above, I think it's miles above Five Finger Death Punch and Justice for None. So that's where Cruachan is going to land for me. Mark Radulich, I turn it back over to you, sir.
All right, well, that wraps up our show. To our good friend Cruachan Keith, we hope you enjoyed our review of your album. You guys did a great job. I highly recommend it to anyone who listens to metal, who follows me on Facebook, on Twitter, or whatever. If you can deal with folk metal, this you would not be. I'm so tired.
Mark Radulich, get some oxygen going to that brain, buddy.
It would not be the worst thing.
Know.
It would not be the worst thing in the world if you picked up the new Cruachan album.
And we're going to spread the word. We're going to spread the word. We're going to be posting this podcast to a lot of places, as Mark Radulich does every time a podcast ends. So Cruachan is going to be at least showing up on a lot of people's news feeds here, probably within the next 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, give it a listen. 9 Years of Blood. That's what I was fucking struggling for. Jesus Christ.
The title of the album?
It's late and I haven't slept a lot. I'm watching too much Weeds, ladies and gentlemen. Watching way too much Weeds. So with that said, next week on the Metal Hammer of Doom, I believe, is OTEP, Cult 45.
Oh, boy. Boy, I tell you what, I hope that the lead singer of their band doesn't listen to our shit. Gosh.
She's going to be mad.
She's already mad. I think she's continuously mad. I don't remember her being...
let me go ask, is she gay enough for Hollywood? Is she just the right amount of gay?
You're asking me? I don't know. I unfortunately am not the intern that listens to this network.
Are you not the judge of all things gay?
Unfortunately, I've lost that title.
Oh, okay.
I'm shooting for the Earl of Tyrone right now. So.
Jesse Starcher, keeper of all things gay. People who aren't following the Ruby Rose thing have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. Like,
I didn't even know she existed until you posted that thing. So
that hairy ting.
My wager is on it's not. But moving on.
I don't know. Do you watch Orange Is the New Black? I don't believe it was a hairy ting. All right. I got the schedule up now. I can actually read and not struggle.
Oh,
with having
now you're awake.
There we go.
Schedule's involved.
Alrighty. Next week on the Metal Hammer of Doom, as I said before, is OTEP Cult 45. Gay enough for Hollywood? Find out next week. In the meantime, Alexis Haina from Honeysuckle Rose Creation will be joining us nerds on the Source Material podcast. So yes, we have a token girl this week on the Source Material podcast, and we're talking. What else? But a female superhero. It's the only. It's the
buxom superhero.
Yeah, but titties galore in this one, folks. Do you like tits? Read Zatanna by Paul Dini. How much of that conversation are you leaving in the podcast? By just out of curiosity, because we did a good 20.
I haven't got there yet. I'm too embarrassed to edit my own shit in privacy. Can you believe that?
We did it We did 20 minutes. We did at least 20 minutes on tits and comics.
We did. I can't take that out because it was a very good discussion, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that deserves to stay in there.
Even though I sound like a creep.
Is it an awkward subject that you bring up with a female on the podcast?
Yep.
Yes, sir. Mark Radulich, no shame in his game.
No. I am pantsless Pete. I will stand before you with my cock out, rocking out. Speaking of cock out, rock out.
Yellow Ford.
That's right. Next week on Damn You Hollywood is our summer wrap up show. We're going to look at everything from Infinity War to the Meg. and maybe take a look at some things maybe that we didn't necessarily get a chance to review. The aforementioned OTEP Cult 45, and just put on the schedule, because I've been obsessed with it lately, Sean Comer will make his last appearance in the month of August. We reviewed Glow Season 2, we reviewed Orange is the New Black, we did an on-trial for Dances with Wolves, and he's coming back for one more show. I usually only have him on about once a month. This is going to be the 4th show for the month of August. We're going to look at the entire series of Weeds. All 8 seasons.
Best of luck, sir.
3 good seasons and 5 hot garbage.
Man, that's gonna be a packed show.
Yeah. And then finally, we wrap up the month of August. We're looking at X-Men Legacy Volume 1, Prodigal Son, Legion Season 2, brought to you by FX and the good people at Fox, now Disney. And lastly, right here on the Metal Hammer of Doom, we're going to review the new Alice in Chains, Rainier Fog.
That's right.
And that's all. I'm done talking.
Oh, hey, that's a cue for me. I forgot I haven't done my plugs yet. Ladies and gentlemen, go give that Rattlich in Broadcasting Network Facebook page a like to stay up on top of all the great podcasts that we have to offer. Plenty of content there, most likely something that you would enjoy. So please rate and subscribe. We're on Spotify. They haven't canceled us yet. They certainly, aren't listening to our podcast, which is great. I don't mind that. We're still on there. We're also on
I have
Spreaker.
A question. Should I put up
sir.
the album cover for Cruachan 9 Years of Blood, or should I put up a picture of Ruby Rose?
I would. I think you know the answer to that question. So yes, go give that Facebook page a like, and
the Rattling Broadcasting Network trying Jesse's patience for at least 4 years.
Oh yes, at least. Absolutely not. I've listened to this network for at least 5. So, but I continue to come back. I'm like the Ronnie Adams of podcasting, where I just want to leave but can't. That is not the case. I love being here. I love talking music with you and comic books and all sorts of other subjects right here on the Rattlich Broadcasting Network. Turning this into a plug. That's right. Then I also want to go ahead and plug the show that should be showing up on UnspokenDecade.com. I'm a contributor over there. We recorded this past Sunday on Hacker Files and had a good time hanging out with Dean Compton, Chris Armstrong. We are going to be dropping that sometime soon. I already finished up the edit. It's over there. It's just all in Dean Compton's wonderful anarchist hands right now. So we'll see what happens.
At least when you do a show with me, you know what's going to get up.
Yeah, because I'm probably the one that posts it. I'm the one that you're talking about, like the Metal Hammer of Doom and things like that. Yes, that is true.
Listen, my podcast may be terrible and I may be a racist, but at least my shit gets on the air.
We are consistent.
Yes,
it may be bad, it may be horrible, it may be racist, but we are consistent.
I don't have 10 hours of shit in the can that no one's ever going to hear. God damn it.
Now yeah, okay, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm ready to get out of here. I know Mark Rattlich is just about to fall over.
Ladies and gentlemen, fuck this podcast.
I turn it over to you, Mark Rattlich, sir. Let's get on out, man.
All right, for Jesse Starcher, he has a hairy ting.
Still do.
And it's going back on Monday, though. This has been our review of Cruachan 9 Years of Blood. God damn it. Give it a listen. Be well, be safe, and behave.